we've got safety, Collin Jacob. We'll go ahead and we'll open up for questions.
First, I want to say I appreciate everybody for coming here after the game.
Opening statement now, we'll open up for questions.
With something that dramatic of a finish, how much does that bolster you guys heading into the bye week?
Oh, it's some, it's something we've been talking about the whole week, for practice and everything. Like, we got to hit this one. We need this one. It's something that just was motivated by a team for us, and then we was able to push through at the end. Defense coming over the big stop, and then, offense, the last second, was able to put it in for us, at the end.
Talk about you waiting for your opportunity. You got it in a game that y'all really, really needed. The blitz on third down when you got the sack was huge. Just talk about capitalizing on this opportunity.
Oh, nah, it's a great feeling, like you say, I waited for my opportunity. My opportunity came, I took advantage of it. That's always I tell myself, when your opportunity comes, take advantage of it. Because you don't know when you can get another opportunity for a time like this. And I think, my coaches, I think Coach Salgado, my teammates for trusting and believing that, I can go in there and perform the way I did.
When y'all were down 17, there was a stop where you kind of held them and they missed the 57-yard field goal. I think most of us were thinking the game was over at that point. What was the defense's mentality at that point in the game?
Now, what I like to say is always stay motivated and believe. I kept telling believe, because I trust in my Lord and Savior. I tell the guys every time, like, if we believe, we're gonna get what we need to get done. And the guys, we hold each other accountable. That's what we do inside the defensive room. From the D line to the linebackers to the safety, we hold each other accountable. So when we see the 0-17, that's everything's possible with the Lord. That's how I feel. And we buck our chin straps and we went out there and play the defense that we play the culture that we know how to play.
So the past 2 weeks, the last two games, y'all were out of town and not close out of town. Y'all were in Missouri and in Michigan. Back-to-back weeks, finally being back home. Like, how important was that for y'all to finally be back home and get another chance to defend your home turf?
Yeah, I think us being at home, it's a booster. With our crowd, our fans, the atmosphere is just different. When the lights turn off, it does something to us. Both sides, offense, defense, and special teams. I feel as though on the road, some teams say they got a home advantage, and I feel like we had the home advantage, and we had it on our mind. It's a calculated mindset and an attitude that we got to have in order for us to perform the way we did, and that's what we did tonight.
Two questions, if I can. First one for you. Can you just speak to how, like, just a handful of plays throughout the game can shift it? Like, you had a sack, Lunch obviously did what he did.
Yeah.
How much can a handful of plays really shift the game, especially like the way this one was?
Now, with the plays that we made, the big plays like the sack, the QB run, it's things like that that's gonna push us and move us forward past this. It's times where we're like, okay, we got to lock in, and it shows that we can do it. It shows that we are capable of doing those things, making those big plays, scoring in overtime. We went to overtime. This was our first overtime. For our team to lock in and fully dial into that, we can go a long ways with this. And I believe that we can.
And my other question, just talk about how Lunch was able to come in and just invigorate life, not just to the offense, but even the defense. Like after he scored one of the touchdowns, he walked the entire sideline, slapped everybody up, and kind of lit fire under.
Man, Lunch, he's an incredible dude, man, on the field and off the field. As a team, he's a leader for the team. All three of our quarterbacks is leader for the team. And for us to put our trust in him at the end of the play like that is something big for him, because he was waiting for his opportunity too. I told him every day, wait for your opportunity. Your opportunity will come, take advantage of it. And he told me, he's like, I listened to you, and I felt that, because it was times where I was waiting for my opportunity. When I got it, I took advantage of it. So to see him, at the end of the game make a hurdle, then again in the end zone, that meant, the thing with me, I'm proud of my teammates' success more than my own. So I was crying tears in the game just because he scored that thing. Just because we talked in those moments like, hey, we're going to get this done, trust and believe. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him with all my heart.
How would you describe Lunch as a player and as a teammate?
Oh, no, Lunch is a, we always use the term, it's lunchtime. You know what I mean? Whether, it's 12 o'clock, 11:30, about to hit 12 o'clock, we always say it's lunchtime. Every time I see him, he like, oh, Leaky, that's what they call me. They call me Leaky or Twin. So every time we see each other, I be like, Lunch, man, he a credible dude. He energetic, always positive. He never down, never negative. He's always uplifting whenever he around the team, around the players, around the coaches. It's always a positive mindset with him. And he a leader. He one of our leaders on the team, you know. Every time we have a player meeting, he speaks and says some positive words or give us some nuggets, you know, to encourage us on the next game or if it's the next play. You know, if we on defense, Lunch down there talking with us like, hey, let's go get this stop. You know, put us on the field, we gonna score. So I trust and believe with Lunch all my heart. You know, I knew he was gonna make a play. You know, if they gave him the ball, he gonna make a play.
So what can this do for y'all defense now that, I know it's a team, but the offense doing and what he did, I'm sure y'all feel like y'all can play better. What can this do going into a bye week to just change y'all defensive approach from here on out?
Most definitely just stay locked in, you know, because a lot of, I mean, y'all see like previous games, like the offense was, you know, not performing to a high standard, and then they showed up tonight. So, you know, that just gives the defense momentum. You know, if the offense show up, that gives us momentum to, all right, now we got to play for the offense because we know the offense going to do it. You know, so that's what we did tonight. You know, we felt like we got to stop in overtime. We got to stop or hold them to the field goal. We felt like the offense was going to punch it in for us and give us 6 points, 7 points, whatever it may be, to win the game. You know, and it starts with us. It starts with the players. You know, so if the players believe that, hey, we'll go how far, you know, carrying on to the next team. You know, and going to the bye week, we just got to stay motivated. You know, we can't let this, you know, get us too high or too low. You know what I mean? We got to, you know, stay the same. We the same team. You know, we got to perform to our standard, and that's what we did tonight, and that's, you know, that's what we're gonna do next week after the bye week.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Congratulations.